Caitlin Clark No. 1 again. Ranking the WNBA's head coaching vacancies. Of the 13 WNBA teams that will compete next season, 7 organizations have head coaching vacancies. Some are desirable, and some are not. Here's where potential hires would love to land, and some spots they might like to avoid. Number 1. The Indiana Fever. The Fever job is easily the most desirable open gig in the WNBA. The only problem: it's probably not really open. Stephanie White parted ways with Connecticut and is almost certainly going to end up with the Fever. She's from Indiana, already had a successful stint on staff from 2011 to 14, and was head coach of the franchise from 2015 to 16 before taking a college coaching job. It's simply a great place for any coaching candidate to land. They are clearly on the rise, with established young stars like Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and a veteran presence with Kelsey Mitchell. The Fever made the playoffs this season for the first time since 2016, when White was at the helm. So winning looks to be in the cards going forward. That and their recently renovated practice facilities make it a desirable location for free agents. Number 2. The Washington Mystics. The Mystics struggled last year, going 14-26 after Natasha Cloud left in free agency and Elena Del Dunn decided to sit out. But this is still a desirable job for the right coach. When the organization fired GM Mike Thibault and his son, Coach Eric Thibault, Monumental Basketball president Michael Winger spoke of a desire to rejuvenate the franchise. He also expressed the organization's goal of building through multiple drafts. In other words, this is a rebuild. But it's also one that has resources and a history of commitment to women's basketball. Number 3. The Chicago Sky. The Sky have promise with Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, and Chendi Carter headlining a young roster. The organization also just broke ground on a state-of-the-art $38 million practice facility that can be used to attract and keep free agents. The foundation is there for this team, but there is one major concern. Is there any room for error? Teresa Weatherspoon had an entirely new roster, many of whom were young players learning about being in the league. She was fired after 1 season, so that's a red flag for any potential coach. But GM Jeff Pagliocca came in after Weatherspoon had been hired last season, so theoretically, whomever he hires will be a candidate he believes in. Number 4. The Los Angeles Sparks. The Sparks seem to be a franchise with impossible expectations. Most of the roster has been injured over the last 2 seasons, and Curt Miller is a coach with an established ability to build teams and attract free agents. So if the Sparks let him go after 2 years of never even having a complete roster, what will they expect from any coach who takes over? The positive of coaching in LA is that you're coaching in LA. There isn't a more desirable location for enticing potential players. The Sparks also have Cameron Brink and Ricky Jackson, who have immense potential and a shot at the No. 1 pick in the upcoming draft. Those things could outweigh the concerns. Number 5. The Atlanta Dream. The Dream has been a confounding franchise for the last few seasons. They drafted Rhyne Howard in 2022, which was a step in the right direction. She's a wildly talented player who you can build around. But the Dream hasn't done that. Last season, they created a guard-heavy roster and drafted 3 players who were overseas and couldn't contribute. It was just one of the many confusing things GM Dan Padova has done. If I'm a coach, I'd worry that this is a no-win situation. But on the upside, former coach Tanisha Wright was given 3 seasons to try to build something, which is a lot more than some recently fired WNBA coaches received. Maybe a new coach will be given the same grace. Number 6. The Dallas Wings. The Wings have had 8 coaches since 2010. Which again shows that no one is really getting the opportunity to build a system or establish a culture. Former coach Latricia Trammell took Dallas to the 2nd round of the playoffs in 2023, the first time the team had advanced past the opening round since 2015. This season she had an injury-laden roster, and despite last year's success, she was fired after just 2 seasons. Another concern for any potential coaches is the roster. Free agents Satu Sabali and Natasha Howard have both made it clear they aren't looking to return. Number 7. The Connecticut Sun. The Sun has gotten lucky over the last few seasons. Kurt Miller was able to build a contending team with Jonquil Jones, Alyssa Thomas, and Dewana Bonner, and Stephanie White maintained that same level of success. But having a WNBA team in Uncasville, Connecticut, is not easy.